Hello Daily Drafters and welcome back to the channel for today's video. I've got a fun one for you today. We are currently in the midst of the second Universes Beyond main set release of this year, Avatar the Last Airbender. We've had Lord of the Rings a couple years ago, we've had a new main set Universes Beyond release this summer with Final Fantasy, and now we've got Avatar and plenty more to come. Now, this summer with Final Fantasy, I felt a little bit left out considering I really had no kind of experience with the set or the IP going into the Magic set. I kind of knew who Cloud was and the fact that he had like a sword or something, and that's about it. So all of the references and all of the characters and everything, I wasn't really able to relate with as I was playing the set. Now, I did still play the set, but I felt like I got a little bit less enjoyment out of it. When it came to Avatar, I knew that was coming up, and I knew that it was a relatively short series, and my wife actually loved it. So I gave myself the excuse to watch the entire thing. I watched the whole series beginning to end less than a month before it came out. And I gotta tell you, it's really improved my enjoyment of the Magic set as a whole by actually knowing the references and the care they put into these cards here. So this video is really intended for those of you that love Magic, love playing Avatar, will continue to play Avatar here in the coming weeks, but don't really know much about it. So I'm going to tell you the entire story of Avatar from beginning to end through the Magic cards that we love and are playing with right now. Cards like Badger Mo Cub and Wan Chi Tong and all the versions of Aang and Katara and everybody else. I'm going to put them on the screen, tell you beginning to end episode 1 to 61 in 20 minutes here. So it's going to be rapid fire, and for those of you that have seen the show and want to head into the comments and let me know everything I left out, feel free to do that if you feel I left out some major plot points or something that others might want to know about. But I'm trying to condense this down to 20 minutes, so naturally things will get left out. But this will give you a pretty good idea of exactly how all the cards you've been playing with and will continue to play with relate to each other when it comes to this Universes Beyond set. So without any further ado, let's dive in to the beginning of the series. Our series begins with Sokka and Katara, two teenage siblings living in the South Pole, who discover Aang and his flying pet bison Appa, trapped in an iceberg. After Katara frees him, she discovers that he is an airbender, and the siblings take him to their home village in the Southern Water Tribe. Meanwhile, his unfreezing attracts the attention of the Fire Nation's Zuko, who is intent on capturing him. Prince Zuko attacks the Southern Water Tribe, seeking to capture the Avatar Aang. Katara and Sokka fly in on Appa to save Aang from the Fire Nation. After realizing that he is the long-lost Avatar, they agree to accompany him on his travels to master the other elements. While journeying to the North Pole, Aang, Sokka, and Katara explore Aang's former home, the Southern Air Temple. Aang learns of his people's genocide at the hands of the Fire Nation, and his anger triggers his Avatar state, which in turn alerts the world that the Avatar has returned. Meanwhile, Zuko and his uncle Iroh have their ship repaired at a Fire Nation port commanded by a rival Commander Zhao. As Aang and his friends begin crossing the expansive Earth Kingdom, they are captured by the female warriors of Kyoshi Island. Sokka is trained by the Kyoshi warriors, while Aang lets the villagers' reverence go to his head. Zuko finds out that Aang is on Kyoshi Island, and he attacks the village, and Aang and his friends escape on Appa. Aang and the gang arrive in Omashu, and while there, they destroy parts of the city on a joyride on the city's mail system. The king of Omashu challenges Aang to 3 tasks that require creative thinking before allowing Aang and his friends to leave the city. It's also revealed that the king of Omashu happens to be Aang's long-lost childhood friend Bumi. Aang, Katara, and Sokka camp at a small Earth Kingdom town where all the town's earthbenders are arrested by the Fire Nation. Katara accidentally gets an earthbender, Haru, arrested. In her guilt, she tricks the Fire Nation into arresting her so that she can help free the earthbenders from the inside. The gang finds themselves in a small Earth Kingdom village under attack by a spirit world monster. Aang attempts to stop the monster from destroying the town and is accidentally transported to and trapped within the spirit world. Meanwhile, Iroh gets captured by a group of Earth Kingdom soldiers, and Zuko must track him down. Aang must travel to the Fire Temple while battling Zuko and Zhao to receive a message from Avatar Roku. He soon finds out that even the once loyal sages of the Avatar are against him. Katara steals a waterbending scroll from a band of pirates and begins to teach Aang waterbending before they reach the North Pole. Zuko and Iroh learn that the pirates were robbed by the Avatar and team up with them in order to capture Aang. Traveling by foot, Team Avatar accidentally stumbles into a Fire Nation camp. The soldiers immediately surround them, though the team is saved by Jet and his freedom fighters and invited back to their treetop hideout. There, the team learns about the orphans living in the woods and fighting the Fire Nation soldiers who dare to set foot in the forest. While Aang and Katara are trustful of the freedom fighters, Sokka remains skeptical, a sentiment that is strengthened when Jet and a few of his fighters ambush an old Fire Nation civilian. Suspicious of his true intentions, Sokka trails Jet on a nightly walk and discovers that the freedom fighters' leader desires to flood the Earth Kingdom village of Gaipan, killing everyone, in order to eradicate the Fire Nation soldiers stationed there. Before Sokka can intervene, however, he is captured by the freedom fighters. By morning, Jet convinces Katara and Aang to use their waterbending to fill up a reservoir under the ruse of it being needed to extinguish forest fires, though in reality, it is to flood the village. After they are done, they discover Jet's true intentions, and although they manage to incapacitate him in battle, they fail to stop the freedom fighters from blowing up the dam and flooding Gaipan. However, Sokka managed to escape and warn the villagers, evacuating them all to safety. While crossing a canyon on foot, Aang has to mediate between two tribes, the Zhangs and the Ganjins, who have been feuding for almost 100 years. After sending Appa to the other side with the sick and elderly, they become trapped in the canyon where their earthbender guide's arms are broken. While a storm approaches, Aang tells Katara why he ran away from the Air Temple 100 years prior. Meanwhile, on Zuko's ship, Iroh tells the crew the tale of how the prince received his scar and was banished from the Fire Nation. Aang must travel to an herbalist to retrieve a cure for the ill Sokka and Katara. While returning to his friends, he is captured and attacked by the Union archers, sent after him by the newly promoted Admiral Zhao. A mysterious masked swordsman, the Blue Spirit, assists Aang in escaping his imprisonment. Katara convinces Sokka and Aang to travel to a village after hearing of a fortune teller named Aunt Wu who resides there. Aang and Katara become excited when the fortune teller predicts their love lives. Sokka, however, doubts Aunt Wu's predictions and is proven correct when the volcano she predicted would not destroy the town becomes active. Sokka and Katara then meet Bato, a warrior from the Southern Water Tribe, at an abbey. When Aang overhears that Sokka and Katara are excited over the prospect of reuniting with their father, he hides a map leading to their father's location. Meanwhile, Zuko, using Katara's necklace, hires a bounty hunter named June to track down Aang. After being chased out of a Fire Nation festival, Aang, Sokka, and Katara encounter a group of Fire Nation deserters, led by their firebending master and ex-admiral Zhang. After realizing this could be his only chance to learn firebending, Aang, with the help of Avatar Roku's spirit, convinces Zhang to teach him firebending. Meanwhile, Admiral Zhao continues his chase for the Avatar. After hearing tales that people with the ability to fly are inhabiting the Northern Air Temple, Aang and the crew travel there, eager to meet airbenders. However, they instead find a misplaced tribe of Earth Kingdom natives who, much to Aang's disappointment, have renovated much of the temple. Finally reaching the North Pole, Aang finds a waterbending master. However, the master refuses to teach Katara, being that women are forbidden to learn the art. Meanwhile, Sokka spends time with Yue, princess of the Northern Water Tribe. Admiral Zhao hires the pirates to assassinate Zuko while he prepares a massive fleet to invade the North Pole. The Northern Water Tribe braces against the attack by the Fire Nation. Meanwhile, Zuko sneaks into the North Pole to capture the Avatar. Aang, realizing that the Water Tribe cannot defeat Zhao's fleet alone, decides to visit the Spirit World to get help from the Moon and Ocean spirits. Sokka, Katara, and Yue follow Zuko to save Aang. In the Spirit World, Aang learns the identities of the Moon and Ocean spirits and that they are in danger. As Aang returns to the real world, he is saved by Katara. Meanwhile, Zhao succeeds in capturing the Moon Spirit, the source of all waterbending. Aang enters the Avatar state to destroy the siege, Zuko defeats Zhao, and Yue gives her life back to the Moon Spirit to save the Water Tribe. After leaving the North Pole, Aang and the group travel to an Earth Kingdom military base to receive an escort to Omashu, so Aang can learn earthbending from King Bumi. The general there reveals a surprising plan, suggesting that Aang trigger the Avatar state to defeat the Fire Lord immediately. Meanwhile, Zuko's sister, Princess Azula, claims that the Fire Lord will pardon both him and Iroh if they return home with her. While on the way to Omashu, Aang and the crew meet a group of traveling bards who take them through a vast tunnel known as the Cave of Two Lovers. In the cave, Aang, Katara, and Appa become separated from Sokka and the bards. Elsewhere, Zuko and Iroh are sheltered by kind people after Iroh accidentally drinks the tea from a poisonous plant. And yes, this is also the episode that the famous Secret Tunnel song was originally sang in. Aang and the crew are shocked to find Omashu captured by the Fire Nation. They sneak in and are caught by Fire Nation soldiers, but released when pox marks on Sokka create the illusion of illness. They meet the resistance and allow the whole city to escape by creating a fake epidemic with the same pox marks. Elsewhere, Azula tracks down her old friends, Mai and Ty Lee, to help her capture Zuko and Iroh. While flying over a swamp, Aang, Katara, Sokka, and Appa become separated by a tornado. After landing in the swamp, Appa and Momo are captured. Meanwhile, Sokka sees visions of Princess Yue, Katara sees visions of her mother, and Aang sees visions of an unknown girl. After being attacked by a band of Fire Nation soldiers, the gang stumbles upon a town celebrating Avatar Day. However, they find out this is actually an anti-Avatar celebration, and Aang is arrested for killing Chin the Conqueror in a past life. Sokka and Katara travel to Kyoshi Island to find clues to prove Aang's innocence. Still seeking an earthbending master, Aang and the crew stumble upon an earthbending tournament. While there, they find a blind master earthbender, Toph, the girl whom Aang saw as a vision in the swamp. Aang challenges her and easily defeats her with airbending, but she refuses to teach him earthbending. Both Aang and Toph are captured by the owner of the earthbending tournament. After leaving his uncle, Zuko continues his solo journey. He meets a boy in an Earth Kingdom town who brings him home to dinner. While this happens, Zuko has flashbacks about his life before banishment, including his loving mother and cruel sister, Azula. Aang, Katara, Sokka, and Toph are chased by an unknown machine which results in a lack of sleep. After Toph and Katara argue, Toph leaves and runs into Iroh, who is tracking down Zuko. After cleaning Appa so his fur does not leave a trail for the tank to follow, Aang goes one way as a decoy, and Sokka and Katara fly in another direction on Appa, the former of which results in a three-way fight. Aang tries to learn earthbending from Toph despite interference from his previous airbending training. Sokka becomes stuck in a hole after trying to hunt an animal, and elsewhere Iroh teaches Zuko how to redirect lightning so he will be a more capable threat against Azula. A professor tells the gang about a spirit library full of information hidden in the Siwang Desert. Sokka decides to find the desert library in hopes of finding secrets and weaknesses about the Fire Nation. When the group arrives at the library, they find that much of the information of the Fire Nation has been destroyed. However, they still find crucial information about firebenders that could possibly end the war. Appa is captured, and the gang walks across the desert to tell the Earth King about the Fire Nation's secret. Aang grows angry and sad over Appa's capture, and elsewhere a secret society helps protect Iroh and Zuko from the Fire Nation and bounty hunters. After leaving the desert, the group, accompanied by Suki, attempts to lead a couple who are expecting a baby through a dangerous Serpent's Pass. Aang discovers a secret Fire Nation superweapon headed straight for Ba Sing Se and must stop it before it destroys the Great Wall, which protects the city from invasion. Team Avatar finally arrives in the Earth Kingdom's capital, Ba Sing Se, eager to tell the Earth King about the opportunity of the coming eclipse, only to be stopped by mysterious forces within the city. Meanwhile, Jet tries to prove that Zuko and Iroh, supposedly simple refugees, are actually firebenders. During their stay in Ba Sing Se, Katara and Toph have a girls' day out. Iroh helps out people in town. Preparing for an emotional day, Aang helps a zookeeper build a new zoo. Sokka accidentally ends up in a poetry club, and Zuko goes out on a date, and Momo looks through Ba Sing Se for Appa. After his abduction in the Siwang Desert, Appa is eventually sold to a Fire Nation circus where he is forced to perform. He manages to escape, but his return to Wan Shitong's library proves fruitless as Aang and his friends had already left. Flying to Ba Sing Se, he gets into a fight with a porcupine, but Suki and her fellow warriors from Kyoshi Island help him recover from his injuries before the group is attacked. He flees to the Eastern Air Temple, where a mysterious guru provides him with aid on his search. The gang continues looking for Appa, with Long Feng trying to throw them off by sending Jet to make them leave the city. They meet up with Longshot and Smellerbee and realize Jet was brainwashed. Elsewhere, Zuko discovers that Aang is in the city and begins his own search for Appa. The gang breaks into the Earth King's palace to talk to him, Long Feng, and the Dai Li about the war. At their new house, Zuko falls spiritually ill as his latest action has set a different course for his future. Aang starts to learn control of the Avatar state from Guru Patik at the Eastern Air Temple. Sokka is reunited with his father and Toph teaches herself metal bending, while Zinfu and Master Yu transport Toph back to her parents. Katara and the generals plan the invasion of the Fire Nation. Later, she sees Zuko and Iroh running their tea shop. When Aang has a vision that Katara is in danger, Aang, Sokka, and Toph all rush back to Ba Sing Se to save her. They meet up with Iroh, who asks their help in saving Zuko, who had been captured as well. While Aang and Iroh journey to the prison where Zuko and Katara are held, Toph and Sokka go to warn the Earth King of a secret coup led by the Dai Li, but are captured by Azula. Aang and Katara battle Azula when Zuko shows up and helps Azula. They are overwhelmed by Zuko, Azula, and the Dai Li. Aang prepares to let go of his feelings for Katara to save her, and meditates as he rises in cosmic energy, but is struck by Azula's lightning bolt and falls. The gang escapes Ba Sing Se, and Katara revitalizes Aang using the water from the Spirit Oasis in the North Pole. Aang wakes up on a Fire Nation cruiser with hair after having been in a coma for a few weeks, and Zuko returns home after restoring his honor. Mistaken for a Fire Nation school student, a disguised Aang is forced to enroll in a Fire Nation school, but finds trouble obeying the rules. Aang's hair helped to disguise him better with his headband. Meanwhile, Zuko tries to confront Iroh in his prison cell. He later hires Combustion Man to kill Aang in secret. When the group travels to a starving fishing village, Katara disguises herself as the Painted Lady, a local river spirit, to help the village suffering from a polluted river caused by a nearby factory. Sokka feels as though he is not contributing to the team because he lacks bending abilities, so he seeks out a swordmaster who will teach him the way of the sword. He later goes on to make a sword out of a meteorite. Zuko, Azula, Mai, and Ty Lee go on vacation to Lo and Lee's beach house, where they learn much about themselves and each other. Meanwhile, Aang and the rest of the team are being chased by Combustion Man, sent by Zuko, who fires explosive blasts with his mind from a tattooed third eye. Aang and Zuko are then taken on parallel adventures that explore the history of the 100-Year War by showing the friendship between Avatar Roku and Fire Lord Sozin, who were once best friends, but became enemies after Sozin sought to expand the Fire Nation's power. Now, this is a really pivotal moment in the series where it kind of shows the parallel of Aang and Zuko, who each learn about their connection to these figures because Roku was the previous Avatar and Sozin was Zuko's paternal great-grandfather. In a brief moment of comedic relief, Katara expresses her disapproval when Toph discovers a way to make quick cash, resulting in a rift that leaves the group vulnerable and produces nearly disastrous consequences after the arrival of Combustion Man. The gang looks into strange disappearances in a spooky town, where they meet an old lady, Hama, who teaches Katara some secret water bending techniques that do include blood bending, where you can actually bend the water within the human to control their movements. The group arrives at the rendezvous point for the invasion 4 days ahead of schedule, with Aang beginning to feel nervous about the fast approaching confrontation with the Fire Lord, leading him to have nightmares and subsequently stop sleeping entirely. It is the day of the Black Sun, and the group meets up with the invasion force with Aang ready to take on the Fire Lord. However, they soon realize things are not going to go according to their plan, and their surprise attack is not so unexpected. The eclipse has started, and the gang only has a few minutes to infiltrate an underground bunker and find and defeat Ozai. Zuko confronts his father and learns about his mother's banishment, while Aang, Sokka, and Toph fight Azula and her Dai Li agents. The mission proves to be a failure as Aang and the gang do not find and meet up with Ozai, as the attack was premeditated and understood by the opponents before they even initiated it. The gang then leaves the Fire Nation humbled and embarrassed by the failure of the invasion. They head to the Western Air Temple. However, unbeknownst to them, Zuko is also following them in the hope of joining their group to teach Aang firebending. Aang prepares to start his firebending training only for Zuko to realize that he has lost all of his firebending power, as he no longer draws his firebending power from rage, anger, and his desire to capture Aang. So they travel to the ancient Sun Warriors' temples to find the true origin of firebending. They eventually meet the last two dragons, Ran and Shaw, who teach them that firebending is a source of life and energy, not just destruction. Sokka and Zuko break into the Boiling Rock Prison, the Fire Nation's highest security prison, to rescue Sokka's dad, Hakoda. When they develop an escape plan after finding out Hakoda is not there, other prisoners become involved and ruin it. Now the two and a recently discovered Suki have to find another way out of the inescapable fortress. Hakoda arrives as a prisoner shortly after, and Sokka, Hakoda, Suki, and Zuko form a new escape plan, but it is complicated by the arrival of Princess Azula. In a desperate bid for freedom, the four escape due to the assistance of Mai, leaving Azula shocked and dismayed. Katara and Zuko then journey together to find the man responsible for the death of Katara's mother, Kaya, who was killed in a Southern Water Tribe raid, as opposed to by the Fire Nation as Katara originally thought. The gang then goes to the Ember Island Theater to see a play about their own journey, but they're not actually happy with the production and the inaccurate portrayals of themselves. Aang is informed of Ozai's plan to burn down the Earth Kingdom with an airship fleet. He disappears during the night, having sleepwalked onto a mysterious moving island. His friends can't find him and seek aid from June. Meanwhile, Ozai is crowned the Phoenix King. The gang finds Iroh with June's help. Iroh suggests that Zuko challenge Azula for the position of Fire Lord, with Katara to help. The others decide to intercept the airship fleet. Meanwhile, Aang comes to the conclusion that he must kill Ozai after talking to previous avatars, only to find out the island he was on was a lion turtle. Sozin's comet finally returns. Sokka, Toph, and Suki begin destroying the airship fleet. Aang duels Ozai, but is soon overwhelmed because of his reluctance to kill him. Zuko fights Azula in an Agni Kai, but is shot by lightning in the process of saving Katara from the oncoming bolt. Katara eventually defeats Azula by trapping her in ice and heals Zuko, driving Azula to insanity. Sokka, Toph, and Suki destroy the airship fleet, as Aang defeats Ozai after going into the Avatar state to remove Ozai's bending abilities. Afterward, Zuko is crowned the Fire Lord, and everyone lives happily ever after.